Power 102 Digital.
It is Thursday, the 5th of December, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has reported a slowing or reduction of the number of the murder rate. While the country has now recorded its third highest annual murder toll ever, police are hoping it avoids the 600 mark in 2024, especially as the murder rate has slowed in the last 3 months, resulting in November recording the lowest number of murders for the year so far. After a high of 68 murders in August, the murder toll has been slowly declining, with 58 in September, 55 in October, and 33 in November. April is the only other month with less than 40 murders, 37 committed. November, April, and January were the only months where the toll was less than the corresponding period last year. Murders in January declined from 61 last year to 44 in 2024, while the April figure declined from 52 in 23 to 37 in 2024. In November, murders dropped from last year's murder toll of 43. The total for this month stood at 3 from December 4th, compared to 7 for the same period last year. The recent decline represents a 28% decrease in murders over the past 5 weeks. The annual murder toll for December 4th is higher than last year at 565 compared to 533. A contractor who escaped a hit by gunmen 2 months ago was gunned down in Coquille, San Fernando on Tuesday night. Prem Raj Hero was killed 6 days shy of his 45th birthday. A police report stated Hero was standing on the Napari Mayara Road, where he'd recently started renting an apartment, when at around 7 p.m. he was shot multiple times. Police officers from the Monrepo police station responded and conveyed him to the San Fernando General Hospital. He was pronounced dead at 7:56 p.m. He was a welding contractor, moved out of his home in Ben Lamont, Williamsville, after a hit on his life back in October. And police have yet found no motive for the murder of 23-year-old soldier Teron Luke. Luke of Nicole Street in Arima was fatally shot near his home on Tuesday night. He was last seen in his Hyundai Accent parked on River Road. 2 men were seen exiting the vehicle, one holding a cigarette. They shot Luke. The police were notified, and officers from the Arima police station and the homicide bureau responded and found Luke slumped in the vehicle. He was unresponsive and shot multiple times about the face and upper body. The area was cordoned off, and crime scene investigators recovered 2 live rounds of 9mm ammunition, 1 fragment, and 21 spent 9mm shells. One woman was granted bail with surety as she appeared before a master of the High Court charged with possession of a prohibited article and trafficking in marijuana at the Eastern Correctional Rehabilitation Center. Sasha Maloney of Chaguanas was charged with the offenses when she appeared before Master Sukraj Gosami at the Criminal Court North on Tuesday, the 3rd of December. She was granted bail with a surety in the sum of $100,000 in order to report to the Chaguanas police station once per month. The matter was transferred to the Arima District Court and adjourned to January 7th, 2025. In news of the region, Bahamas Prime Minister Philip Davis has announced the resignation of Police Commissioner Clayton Fernandez. Davis was speaking at the House of Assembly. The resignation comes after an indictment which was unsealed in New York last week, alleging 3 members of the Bahamas law enforcement, including 2 police officers, used their positions to assist Colombian and Bahamian drug dealers to smuggle drugs into the U.S. 13 people were named in the document, including 11 Bahamians and 2 Colombians. Davis said while the commissioner was not implicated in any wrongdoing, the Royal Bahamian Police Force needs change. The Commissioner of Police has served with distinction, Davis said. The Prime Minister said he has a qualified replacement in mind, but did not name the individual. And French Prime Minister Michel Barnier has lost a vote of no confidence with far left and right parties uniting to collapse the government. MPs voted overwhelmingly in support of a motion against him just 3 months after he was appointed by President Emmanuel Macron. Barnier's leadership was called into question after he used special powers to push through his budget without a vote. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good morning.
up to date, and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Thursday morning, neighbors. It is the 5th day of December, 20 days to Christmas. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. It's all about the hours this morning. We just heard from Dr. Paul Richards. We'll hear from Richard Ragoobarsingh. We got Ruben and Shane in the mix. Of course, my name is Steve Khan. 25 degrees at Piarco International Airport. Same at Crown Point in Tobago. Yep, the Met Office has not updated their weather forecast. Traffic-wise, nothing really to tell you about. Just going to Chase Village, you've got some traffic there. All right, so good morning to you, Paul. What's happening?
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone. Good Thursday
Morning, buddy.
to you.
Yep, it is Thursday already. This week is just flying. It is just flying. It's moving quickly. Blink of an eye, we'll be in 2025. Wow. Okay.
Let's see what December brings.
Well, yeah, and January. And what was your motor total for the year already? You said 460 something?
It is 565.
565. Oof. 565.
And most of those are gang related, so if they fix the gang, you'll have less murders.
Oh yeah, definitely. So
at least 2/3 of those are gang related murders. People, gangs fighting and killing each other. Doesn't come for the population any though.
Of course not.
But the police are reporting a decline in the murder rate in the last 3 months, and they've given some data. That's good. The high was in August, where there was 68 murders. September was 58, October 55, and 33 in November, which is really good news. The only other month with less than 40 murders was the month of April, when there were 37 murders committed. So that's good news.
Yeah. That is good news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I said, we don't report the good news, So.
That's true, huh?
Yeah.
We
don't report bad news. So we report good news this morning. I put it as a top story, in case you didn't notice. And unfortunately, though, there were 3 murders in the last 48 hours. So.
Yes, please. I don't know, yes.
Yeah. A 23-year-old soldier, very strange, from Arima.
Really?
A contractor who was escaped a hit 2 months ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
And very, very odd.
Yeah, I saw that.
Good morning, Adande Piggott.
Yeah, morning, Piggy Lou.
I don't know about calling the man Piggy Lou.
That's his name when he messages, Piggy Lou. That's his name on the show. Official name is Adande Piggott. Well, very much a nice chap.
I was thinking
of qualified chap.
His commentary on PTSD. I don't know if anybody can see PTSD successful in anything. That is really dumbing down expectations if you think PTSD is successful. He was going good, and they say PTSD isn't as bad as we think, really. If your expectations are really low.
That's Citygate. I don't know,
It's Citygate alone.
Citygate alone.
And then just 3 years ago, Minister Sinman told us about this great traffic transportation plan, and to hear again, it's coming next year. It's always coming next year. It's always it's always coming next year. It's always coming in a couple of months.
Yeah. And I have spoken to Adande And the minister said when we had him on last time, a few weeks ago, that they actually received the metal grates for that flyover by NP and Bagwansing's heading into Port of Spain. But every day, you have to come to a complete stop to go over all these humps. And remember, we spoke to the minister as well with the traffic lights. If you have to pass through Port of Spain to go to the west, you have the lighthouse, you have the port, you have Independence Square, you have by Hyatt. If you want to include the market traffic light, that's 5 lights just to pass through, just over a kilometer. To make it seamless, but I have no idea how they will be able to fix that. That you can just zip on by.
And why would you want to zip on by?
Well, you know what I mean. No traffic lights. The traffic will flow if you're heading westbound.
And how would you regulate the traffic coming in different directions?
That's it. You know, are you going to regulate traffic by the lighthouse? Well, the lighthouse is kind of okay. The port, Hyatt. Independence Square.
Daniel, yes, I saw the Bahamas Parliament video. Someone
send that to me, Paul.
Bahamian Parliament went into an uproar when the Speaker of the House refused to let the leader of the opposition speak. And he went up and grabbed, there's this thing called the mace, which is like a scepter that sits at the front of the desk for the presiding officer. Well, one of the opposition members went up and grabbed it and threw it out the window.
Is that what happened?
He get up and grab it and threw it out the window.
I got a video, but I didn't get a chance to watch it.
You know, they just went into an uproar. Who police had to grab out, police had to bodily lift up and take out one. One has resigned. The Prime Minister accepted resignation. It was quite the scene. Let me see if I can find it and process it in time. It's if it weren't so serious, it would be hilarious.
But it's hilarious. It's hilarious. And then the police ran after him.
It is
that part
crazy, to say the least.
Yeah, it is crazy. Absolutely funny, but crazy.
I found it. If you could process it quickly. You pick up and grab it and throw it out the window.
That's so funny.
I said, what trouble is this?
Good morning to folks out in San Fernando.
Yeah.
Careful on the roads, it's raining.
You know the reason why we have so much traffic on the roads in Trinidad and Tobago? It's because the public transportation system is so bad.
Yeah.
That's why everybody feels they need to have a car. Because PTSD has failed for decades at their mandate.
And if you look at the cars, look around.
Parts and they buy from different iterations of PTSD. You tried them in the last 9 years, you couldn't get something done. The bus stops are atrocious.
Oh, those are homeless shelters.
Yeah, atrocious. Who's going to stand up there in the modern era in any country with mass transit? You expect information, and when the transportation is coming, when to expect it to arrive, a regular, dependable schedule, and you're talking about PTSD is no, Andy, no. It's going real good yesterday until that. That PTSD is a disaster. $400 million wasted every year, in my opinion. Wasted money to transport. I think less than 10% of the traveling public, if I'm not mistaken. I can stand correct. This is atrocious.
Yeah, they need to focus on that. They really, really need to focus on PTSD and city gear and all the various.
I just don't think that the problem with many entities like PTSD is that no matter how much crap they do, they guarantee the subvention from the state, from the government. So no matter how bad they perform, they're going to get the $400 million every year. You understand? That's the problem. So you trying to tell me a service like a public mass transit system cannot be self-sustaining?
Yeah.
A mass transit system in a country with as many commuters as in Trinidad and Tobago cannot pay for itself? That's the first failure right here, that they need government subvention every year. and then they go buy buses that go obsolete in 3-4 years, and they can't get past them, and they go say, well, these buses is the network, the information lack thereof. It's PTSD is atrocious.
Yeah. And the buses, I mean, when they're leaving the terminal, they should be clean. You see some buses, they're washing a long time.
My understanding is that there are buses being driven that should not be driven.
Yeah, we've been told that.
And PTSD is far. You just don't start me on PTSD. PTSD is not something you should mention at me at all.
Yeah, and the cover for the engine always flapping in the back. Most of them.
I just think it's a level of contempt for people. That's what it is. Yeah. I think it's a level of contempt, and it carries out because nobody challenges them. And we expect it to be bad. It's been bad for decades, so we expect it to stay that way. And we don't seem to want to demand more. I don't think any citizen or visitor, you bring somebody here from out of this country and pass them through Citygate and look at their reaction.
Mm-hmm.
In this day and age, really,
Mm-hmm.
people should accept Citygate. In particular the maxi taxi part of it. It's atrocious.
And especially where they let out people, it rains, there's a huge puddle of water that people have to jump over. Keep hearing about that.
When the rain, I wouldn't blame them for that. That's works in infrastructure. Can't blame PTSD for the floods that take place in front of PTSD.
No, but I just say inside Citygate itself, when they let people off, when it rains. You know?
And that is the country's premier mass transit area.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah. You're playing something, but we're not seeing it.
No, I'm loading it, Steve.
Oh, I'm just hearing it here.
Yeah.
All right, 18 minutes after the hour is 6 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, Landon saying people just like their own vehicles. No, I disagree with that. If people had a reliable, clean, safe, information-driven public transportation system, people would stay home or use the public transportation system.
Yeah.
I disagree with that completely. If people felt comfortable, it was reliable and safe. If you could drive, for example, if you live in Chaguanas, you could drive like any civilized country to a car park and park close to the bus depot,
Mm-hmm.
and then walk in and then take a bus into wherever your destination is. People would take bus more, but it makes no sense depending on PTSD, because one, them bus terminus is nasty. Two, the bus service is irregular and there's no information as to whether the buses are coming, and there's no efficiency in the service. I am sorry. And I don't think many people would prefer to walk through Citygate in its present state. So I disagree with that. And when you think of what Citygate could be in terms of a mall, daycare, I mean, the potential is endless, like in any mass transit hub in the world. But you're right, DL. That's good enough for Trinidadians. So take that.
Mm-hmm.
And and rapid rail is not the only form of mass transit in the world. It don't have to be a rapid rail. It could be a highly efficient, well-run, data-driven bus service.
Yeah.
But apparently PTSD ain't capable of that.
When I was in Toronto, I hardly ever used to take my car.
People who live in cities around the world, not even like New York and in smaller cities with proper mass transit bus service, they take the bus.
Yeah.
You understand? They
would
leave
take
the
the
cars
bus.
home and take the train station on the bus because it's efficient and reliable.
I take the bus, I jump on the subway, I drop off at Union, and there's an underground city in Toronto, and I walk underground to my office to work.
Terrible. But
Call us
you
more
mustn't
people.
stop me on PTSD.
Yeah.
And please do not tell me it's a good service.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I just go mad. Where did I put this thing now?
Yeah.
Where did I put Bahamas? I just
Somewhere there. Let's say happy 20th anniversary to David Wares and Cheryl Ann. So happy 20th anniversary to you, David and Cheryl. as David said, hope for another 20 more.
Congratulations to you both.
Yeah, I think my parents will be celebrating their 59th anniversary next month.
Oh,
Yeah, I have to check that. I think I'm pretty much right on that.
that's impressive.
59 on the 22nd of January. And let us say condolences going out to the Dolsing family on the passing of Mr. Hubert Dolsing, who we've had on the program a few times. Talking about NIS and NIB and insurance and so on. Vast of knowledge there. I think his funeral is today. I'll have to check that. The condolences to the Dolsing family.
So this is Bahamas Parliament.
Oh, it's small. All right. There he goes. He picks it up.
Get him!
Get him.
He said, "Get him."
Yeah. There he goes. Runs, grabs it.
Get him!
Here comes the police.
I mean, what would you think? What you could possibly thinking to embarrass yourself and Parliament like that member of the opposition?
Yeah.
At least we just throw words.
We just throw it. Up. Yeah.
My lord, my lord, my lord, my lord.
That's hilarious.
My lord.
My lord.
I mean,
Look, everything is straight out the window.
You think it's right? Do you think it's right? Honorable members, remove that member from this place. Remove the honorable member for St. Barnabas from these proceedings.
Could you imagine?
It is removed and seconded that the business of this house be suspended until for 15 minutes. As many are in favor will remain seated. Those opposed will stand. You wet me up? Disgusting.
No, tell. Alrighty then. At least we don't get so bad.
No, we don't get so bad.
We get rowdy and throw words and things, but that is like wow.
Yeah.
Tell you. Anyway, good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
DL, you're so right. DL is I've seen in Miami where people with Mercedes, Range Rovers,
All over the world.
park in the train station and use the train.
Because you save gas.
Oh God, what is this guy's name again?
You save gas. If it was efficient, you don't have to drive to Port Spain. And then when you get to Port Spain or your secondary destination, there are smaller forms of transport to take you to your further into the city. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But PTSD board do travel.
Yeah.
PTSD management do travel.
I used to see on the train often in Toronto, Mike Myers from Wayne's World.
People from all walks of life use public transportation.
He's quite a short
If
fella.
it is reliable, efficient, clean, and safe.
Yeah.
You know?
We've seen pictures of Keanu Reeves taking the subway in New York.
PTSD is a waste of time. I say it over and over. It's a waste of time.
And the price of gas, it'd be nice to take a public transport to come to work and to go back.
And read a book or listen to music and just relax yourself and
chill out. Yeah, that's what I used to do. Just chill out. Read the paper.
I would like any government minister to leave the car home and take PTSD and see how fast they get to work.
Oh.
And if that is time in them nasty bus shelling them.
Mm-hmm.
That are vagrants sleeping next to you with their whole life next to them.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, defecating in the bus terminus. And somebody want to defend that? Hell no. Anyway, shall we open the phones?
Yeah, we can do that. 25 minutes after 6 o'clock. Let's take some calls, see what's happening. Got some calls coming in already. Good Tuesday morning.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I have some good news this morning, Paul. Well, it depends on how you look at it. I was talking to a friend who works in the bank, and he was explaining to me he just had to assist somebody because he does answer the phones and whatnot, assist callers and whatnot. And he was just assisting somebody to pay their property tax via the online bank. I don't know if you all know about it or have spoken about it. But one of the things that did materialize from this government is that they were able to do the electronic payment system via the banks to pay your property tax. Now, it's good news, but it's also bad news because it means the one thing that you could do involve collecting money or taking money from the citizenry. But anything to help the citizenry, or for some reason it does never materialize. But so I still looking at it in the positive and say and address it and say yes, the government has delivered. They said they were going to make it payable online, and they have done that. So well done to the authorities who have done that.
It's happening right side of the bed this morning.
Yeah, I know. I'm balancing. People just find out I'm saying, but I'm balanced.
I know about balance, but you're getting a little closer to it. Is there a reason that Vibes Cartel is in Trinidad and Tobago?
That's who?
Vibes Cartel. You know, I know he's like with young people and things.
I think he's in Trinidad and Tobago now.
I see something he came in the airport yesterday or the day before.
I know he having a concert for Carnival. No, sorry, not he having a concert. He will be featured in one of the Carnival shows.
He was right the first time.
Carnival. Huh?
You were right the first time.
I wasn't aware that his concert. I thought he was being featured like how other Jamaican artists.
If he performing the longest, is not his concert.
Oh, I don't know.
Thank you, Nemesis.
Nothing here with me. I'm still waiting on our feedback from the authorities reference the snail bait that they're supposed to be giving out. I called yesterday and they didn't get anything. They haven't gotten for months. So if it's falling on the right ears, please deliver what they say or they're providing. Please network with the authorities and provide the snail bait because the snails are getting, they're out of control.
Yeah, they're out of control already.
Yes.
If you walk around your yard,
all right, thank you.
Up to 100 snails in a day. Is that bad?
Good morning.
Good morning, dear.
Morning.
I missed the video, but these adults don't realize the people looking at them, young people, children, sometimes probably seeing these things, they cannot control themselves at all. They have children or grand or great-grand, they cannot behave themselves. Lord have mercy. You guys have a good day.
Same to you.
All right, San Fernando, thank you. Taking your calls. Good morning, caller. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. You gotta move away from your device.
Is this the live studio?
It is, but your radio is quite loud.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
How is it now?
Perfect.
Okay, so Mr. Richards, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I know you just, I'm not trying to upset you any further, but I know you just spoke about the PTSD. And one of the things I want to share with you this morning is that, it's so strange. The PTSD service owns over 30 coaches, and on a daily basis, we have 2 to 3 coaches working.
What is that? Repeat that.
What do you mean, coach? The double-decker, the fancy buses?
The coach that runs some for us to understand.
So your PTSD owns 30, you're saying?
They have 3 coaches running on a daily basis when you go to travel.
Mm-hmm.
There are saying that they don't have the buses, that the buses are down. Sometimes they go to travel, they're telling you that the buses leaking and people opening umbrella in the buses.
People opening umbrellas in the buses because the bus leaking?
Yeah, sometimes when I travel, that is what happens.
Wow.
Sometimes the driver getting wet. There's a passenger getting wet.
So what happened to the maintenance department?
God alone knows. I spoke to a driver recently, and he was saying to me that right now they don't even have uniform. Some of the drivers don't even have uniform.
That would not surprise me because of how badly run the entity is. That wouldn't surprise me. They're saying that they don't have uniform, and management is telling them if you don't have on your uniform, then you're not allowed to drive the buses. So if you're supposed to give them uniform and you're not giving them uniform, and now you're saying to them if they don't have uniform, they cannot drive the buses.
And you see, the problem with PTSC in my eyes is a management issue.
It is a complete and utter failure, PTSC.
Yeah.
If you talk to drivers on a daily basis, when I go to travel, you talk to drivers on a daily basis. They don't even have buses for them to make a trip.
I have heard that. Some of the buses that are actually being driven should not be driven because they will not really pass an inspection.
Buses. So to me, the failure is from the head.
And that's the same way I see it. It's from the head.
So that is in a mess. I mean, it would be nice to know you can leave your car home and travel to and from, you know. And I was even mentioning to a driver some time ago where I said to him, it would have been nice, you know, if they provide, like how they have a priority bus shoot from Port of Spain to Arima, they could have one from Port of Spain to Sando, so the service could be more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, does the board of PTSC have any shame?
None whatsoever.
I don't think so, Paul.
And I talked to a driver just recently, and he is saying the general manager of PTSC, he came from the army. What does he know about mass transportation?
He don't want to know about mass transportation. She said I know somebody.
Yeah.
Who knows somebody?
So, by speaking to drivers, that is some of their concerns, you know. But
I'm sure they have a lot more concerns.
But
you know what it is? Clearly, that the Ministry of Works and Transport is satisfied. That's what it comes down to. There's some level of satisfaction on behalf of the line ministry, clearly, because they keep talking about this coming and that coming and that coming next, and this plan coming, and give me a break.
And nothing is happening after year.
It's embarrassing.
Year after year, same thing.
Because they guaranteed 400+ million a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they guaranteed that.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
You have to work towards self-sufficiency. They'll get that money anyhow you take it.
Mm-hmm. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning.
Just call to say hello and good show. Have a blessed day.
Same to you, my dear.
Calling.
Hi, Gasparilla. Morning to you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Welcome. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Good morning.
Hey, good morning again. I looked at a show a while ago where they featured the mace of Trinidad and Tobago. And it's there that I learned the importance, the significance, and the worth of the mace of Trinidad and Tobago. And if St. Lucia's mace is anything close to the value of ours in Trinidad,
Bahamas.
which I'm sure it does, Bahamas, sorry, and it have the same relevance, then that man who did that should be jailed. You understand? Because it's a very expensive monument, and it's a significant token in terms of democracy and independence. As a matter of fact, I believe the mace is supposed to have its own guards.
It does.
I'm surprised that that was able to happen.
Well, nobody expected you to go and grab the mace and throw it out the window.
Something that you just, is a
yeah, really looking out for that. You ain't standing, oh my God, let me just make sure no member of parliament is going to grab the mace and throw it out the window.
Yes, you're not expecting it from a member of the parliament. You're expecting some deranged citizen or somebody to do something like
deranged.
But it is so atrocious. You understand? And once again, I only learned about it from the documentary made in Trinidad about ours. And maybe it's something we need to rerun and show and to teach our young people. But you see that statement
in Trinidad and Tobago. I would hope not.
No. But you see the statement that lady made, I don't remember her name, about the young people watching and the influence of the young people don't watch Parliament. Right? And what young people
they don't have to watch Parliament. They will get the salacious videos on TikTok.
The highlights on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think young people crazy anyway. Young people just do what young people want to do. That this misconception or belief that they just watch older people and learn and emulate on. I don't subscribe to that at all. Right? There was another thing I wanted to talk about, but it slipped me. But so I'll call back if I remember and I'll take and call. Have a good morning, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
He's my friend Paul. I like to talk to you. Anyway, I still waiting to hoping to run into you somewhere, you know.
And that's why once I see you first, we will not talk.
You just say you don't know what I look like.
Spot people around the corner and avoid them.
Yeah. All right.
Have a good one.
Thank you. All right. 222-8255, toll free North Americans and Canada, 866-525-1099. Morning, Richard.
Morning, guys. Good morning to our listeners and viewers across the planet, basically. Yeah, I saw that video yesterday. You're thinking, wow, if that happened in Trinidad, how would we respond? It would have been,
that is craziness.
Trinidad and Tobago would have been scandal.
I don't know how they're not embarrassed. Or maybe they are.
Or maybe they're arresting. It was just one person.
No, the others were demonstrating and disorderly too, so they threw all them out.
Okay.
But they threw many of them out, not all.
So just when you thought our parliament was divisive.
We don't throw words being thrown in the window. At least I don't think so.
We are not capable of throwing maces out. Teacups maybe, but not maces.
Yeah, we throw teacups. So the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is reporting a slowing down of the murder rate, which is good news that we reported earlier this morning. A declining of the murder rate. After a high of 68 murders in August, the murder toll has been slowly declining with 58 in September, 55 in October, and 33 in November, which is really good news. Mm-hmm. April is the only other month with less than 40 murders, 37 committed. November, April, and January, also the only months where the toll was less than the corresponding period in 2023. Murders declined also in January from 61 last year to 44. And April's figure last year was 52 compared to 37 this year. So that is actually very good news.
Yeah, it is. And hopefully it sustains.
Hopefully it sustains. So far, the murder rate is 565 this year. More than, I think about 2/3 of which are reported to be gang-related. There's an average of 51 murders a month. So let's hope we can keep it at that and continue to reduce it. Last year, I think it was the highest ever. 2022 was 605. Sorry, 2022.
Was 605. Are they giving any data on the other serious crimes like home invasions?
No, they didn't. But
robberies?
I saw a report recently which suggested that car thefts are a big problem in Trinidad and Tobago.
It's not incredible because there was a point at which they got a handle on car thefts.
There's a huge car theft problem that continues in Trinidad and Tobago, and it's tied to the crimes that are being committed because they steal the cars, commit the crimes, and then dump the cars.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's
a bit of data that I got sight of recently, and the extortion issue continues. You know, so we'll see how it goes. Home invasions, I didn't see any data on that. And it was an issue months ago. So good news. The TTPS is saying that their strategies and things are working. Unfortunately, we had 3 murders in the last 48 hours, including a 23-year-old soldier, a contractor who left his residence because there was a hit ordered in him. Unfortunately, he was killed just shy of his 45th birthday, and another murder engaging the attention of police in the last 48 hours. So I see the WASA, the new WASA CEO is up and about.
Yeah.
Went
He's
to work on
introducing
Sunday.
himself to the staff.
Went to work on Sunday and walking around with his executive team to the staff. He's not from Trinidad and Tobago, so I guess he will learn about the culture of Trinbagonians, and we will see how he does with WASA. So you should have a new name to call now when you're out. Instead of Marvin, you call it, what's his name? Harrigan or something like that. Anyway, we continue to take your calls.
Let's grab this call. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Dr. Paul might remember this. You remember there was the young people in the college, the schools was having some debate, and one of the young lady mentioned something that happened with the UNC, something distasteful, and they had us to pull her up on it. So the gentleman who said that children doesn't watch the parliament, this was a debate that scandalous remark that happened on the opposite side was mentioned in a young people debate. Somebody will call in and remind me what it is.
Well, they don't have to watch Parliament itself, I will, because the videos of contentious exchanges and salacious comments go viral on social media anyway. So they get it in their phone. They don't have to watch the whole of Parliament for that. You know? So they will get it, because once it's salacious, remember how she sting him out, how viral that went? So it happens. They're watching and they're learning. I was talking about PTSD and demonstrating about PTSD earlier, Richard. Very upset. And Dan Dick Pickett was so good yesterday until he mentioned some comment about PTSD, which sent me off the deep end. And I think PTSD is an absolute waste of time, and $400 million every year or so. And they haven't seemed to have no way of, they don't seem to have the agency or the inertia to fix the issues and move it to a modern mass transit system. I guess they just think that's what we deserve in Trinidad and Tobago. And if high-ranking officials could say they think they're doing an okay job, that's why it's the way it is, because they really must think they must think they're doing a good job in truth.
You know what's so strange about PTSD? There was a time in the distant past where there was an energy in terms of transforming PTSD.
I remember. And they had luxury buses.
And they had luxury buses.
Yeah, and people started using it. And they began to be reliable and efficient.
Yeah, and I remember people lining up. I mean, I used to take the buses when I used to work Point Fortin. At the time I used to work Point Fortin, like once a month or twice a month.
And why did you take the bus? Because it was efficient and clean.
And it was efficient. And I used to catch it downtown. It drops you off at King's Wharf. I then took a taxi to Point Fortin. And when I came back, took the bus back to Port of Spain. I would sleep.
Because you were reliable. It was on time. It was efficient and clean.
Yeah, it was downtown by Royal Bank. I think it was where you caught it. And and then I don't know why. So obviously, as usual, everything can lead back to management and leadership.
That's what I said. There used to be the executive buses terminal was when there was a building opposite Central Bank where they have the car park now. That where their terminus was. That used to drive. If you want to go to San Fernando and beyond, you pick it up there.
Let me tell you something. If you want to know about the mindset of PTSD, just look at the bus stops along the east-west corridor.
Homeless shelters.
And you will see that as an entity with a management and a board, if you are satisfied with that, it tells me everything I need to know about you and what you think of the traveling public, because you feel that is adequate for the traveling public. And don't tell me let's fix it and let's mash it up. There is something called a maintenance schedule. And Richard, you have papers?
I only have the Guardian.
Okay. Let me start with the Express. It's Thursday, the 5th of December. Merry Christmas, Trinidad and Tobago. Season's greetings. Let's start with the Express for today, Thursday, 5th December. Crime victim sues after police report leaked online. Tobago Chamber. Government must clear the air in the face of allegations that there's a $500 million cost overrun in the construction of the Tobago airport. Kamla, scandal at ANR airport. Ayana ready to run in Tobago, but Cox undecided. Well, I guess the Cox is seriously one of the Laventil. Is it east or west? Where Leon's was.
I could never remember exactly which one.
Yeah. Soldier shot dead in car. The Bray residents back rejection of MP McClashy. No surprise there. A second chance for Killer Thomas. Could you care to do the Guardian now, Ragoobarsingh?
All right, so of course the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today. Today is Thursday, December 5th, 2024. The headline, War of Words. Rowley and Kamla spar over Tobago Airport project. UNCBDA demands criminal probe. And there are inset photos of both the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, and the opposition leader, Kamla Bissessa, almost in a kind of face-off in terms of the picture. And there's a picture of the new terminal, which looks really nice, really good. Got a picture of it in progress. Contractor gunned down in San Fernando. That's a sub-headline. As I said, there's a picture of the new ANR Robinson International Airport terminal. And that's it for the front page. And there are no other sub-headlines that I'm seeing there. So let me just go to the sports pages to give you what the main sports story is for today. The main sports story, Gonzalez blames Shallow for results. That's actually the main story, and that's it. That's basically the main story.
All right, let's go to the newest day now. Historian, school not unearthing students' talents. Gonzalez outlines WASA safety measures for excavation. Answer Packaging tops TTMA Green Manufacturer Award. DCP anti-crime strategies getting traction, steady dip in murders. Soldier shot dead in Arima. Trinidadian jailed for 17 years in Hong Kong on drug charges. Rio Claro jewelry thief 18 held. Bodies found in Cora and El Dorado. And St. Benedict seeks to end 26-year national intercall title drought. So those are trending stories in your Express, Guardian, and Newsday. Did you all see the story also in Bahamas about the police commissioner having to resign? Bahamas hot these days, boy. Over the Prime Minister of Bahamas, Philip David, announced the resignation of Police Commissioner Clayton Fernandez. Davis was speaking at the House of Assembly. The resignation came after an indictment which was unsealed in New York, alleged that 3 members of the Bahamian law enforcement, including 2 police officers, used their positions to assist Colombian and Bahamian drug dealers smuggle drugs into the U.S. 13 people were named in the document, including 11 Bahamians and 2 Colombians. Bahamas, hot these days. Hot. Hot, hot, hot.
Yeah, and in scientific news, there is an Australian company called Philemon Limited, and an Australian biotech company that focused on developing next-gen anti-inflammatory drugs, has announced its breakthrough dementia treatment, Alpha 003, which is designed to preserve the integrity of vital brain cell structures and protect them against destruction caused by brain inflammation. It goes through the scientific explanation of it all, and is saying that its tackling the group of diseases called tauopathies, which includes dementia, including Alzheimer's and chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Existing dementia treatments focus on reducing the consequences of the structural damage, but have enjoyed only moderate process. Now, an Australian biotech company, Philemon Limited, has announced its breakthrough treatment, Alpha 003, which is aimed at halting the progression of dementia by preventing microtubular destruction. So that's one of the stories. Of course, it still has to go into clinical trials by 2026, but it's one of the breaking news stories in scientific journals this morning.
Excellent.
Okay. All right, let's get the results of our morning poll where we asked you yesterday, do you expect the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, to offer himself to be screened for Diego Martin West? That was our poll yesterday. Results are in. 82% said no. All right, let's get into this morning's poll.
And they don't expect him to go up.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of opposite to the morning side of the poll.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
All right, this morning's poll.
Tobago Chamberhead Martin George said government cannot stay silent and avoid accountability in the face of an allegation that there's a $500 million cost overrun in the construction of the A&R Robinson International Airport Terminal in Tobago. He said any normal responsive government would provide transparency, adding the failure to give an account will lead to calls for a criminal probe or charges to be laid. So our question is stemming from that this morning. Should the government clear the air on allegations of cost overruns at the New Tobago airport? I think the Prime Minister did comment on it, but I'm not sure.
But he did make a comment in response to the leader of the opposition. But basically his comment was saying that he is not going to justify, I'm paraphrasing, that he's not going to justify commenting on the leader of the opposition statement in his search for relevance.
All right, so that's a question this morning.
That's something that's what he said. A version of that is what he said. So the poll this morning is, should the government clear the air on allegations of cost overruns at the New Tobago airport? Is the Minister of Finance supposed to speak on this? I think he is, But anyway, so should the government clear the air on the issue, the allegation of cost overruns in the Tobago terminal, the New Tobago terminal? So that's our poll this morning, but you can see that it's up. So 222-TALK, 222-8255, North Americans, 866-525-1099. That's absolutely toll-free to you, North Americans. And of course, people on the web and streaming platforms, you can send your votes via the portals there, the messaging portals. And of course, if you're watching us on Emily TV or listening to us on streaming devices or smart devices, then you can WhatsApp us at 868-318-1021. So should the government clear the air on allegations of cost overruns at the New Tobago Airport Terminal? That's our poll this morning. If you're watching us, you can see it. If you're not, I'll keep repeating it. So should the government clear the air on allegations of cost overruns at the New Tobago Airport Terminal? That's our poll this morning.
Yes or no? A lot of calls coming through. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Sandy Grandy. Yes, and rain like peas in Grandy, Steve.
Oh, yeah. Plants doing the dance. All righty. It was raining in San Fernando a while too. Good morning.
Good morning to the panel. My answer would be yes.
All righty. Thank you.
Good morning.
Let's see. We've got Boy Bedesi saying yes. Wayne Bennett, yes. John Cato, yes. Lester Craigwell, absolutely yes. Michael Robinson, yes. Dwayne Sylvester, yes. Wait, all of a sudden, this one here. Okay. DL says yes to the poll. Empress Lal says yes. CJ New York says yes. Rennie Devines, aka Strong, says yes. Michael Gradison is saying, SOS, urgent call for the bus sheds on the avenue to be adjusted. I walked into the extended post, almost broke my leg. Ugh. I saw somebody put up something like that yesterday too. Colette Finch says yes. Marcia Rock, yes. What says you, caller?
Yes, good morning, compliment. I want to make a statement. Yes,
we're doing the poll now.
The poll, all right then. Thank you very much.
So what do you think about the poll? Did you hear the poll?
Yes, I think yes.
Should the government clear the air on allegations of cost overrun? Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
All righty, buddy. I'll open the lines next hour for a bit. All righty. Julia S. Batiste says yes. Johnson Noel, yes. Wayne Joseph from Ontario, Canada, yes. Wayne Lala, yes. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning.
Mi amor, how are you?
Thinking of you.
All right.
Can't wait for tomorrow night.
Well, you know it's always clear.
It's my night.
Let me answer the poll, please. Yes, because as far as I understand, there's no cost overrun. You know, she want to bring it like the Piaco Airport. Why that so? Well, yes, the Prime Minister has a right to clear that. I'm lying.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Let's see. I got Roger Seawing saying yes. I've got Trini Jam saying yes. David Nelson. Oh, Lord, my mouse stick again. David Nelson says yes. Captain Ron says yes. Cascade St. Anne's, yes. Oh, somebody sent me. Okay. Someone sent a WhatsApp leaking PTSD bus in San Fernando. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. Right. Let's go back here. What was the last one I did? Andre says yes. Slick Money Grip, no. Schumer Paul, yes. David James. All right, David, we just want yes or no. I can't read that book. Okay. Right. All right. Should the government clear the air on allegations of cost overruns at the new Tobago Airport terminal? Yes or no? You just have a minute again to vote. Kenny in Harlem has, I say yes to the poll. Thank you, Kenny. Okay. Yeah. All right. 222-8255. I can squeeze a call in quickly. Jared Garcia in caps. Yes. All right. Should the government clear the air on allegations of cost overruns at the new Tobago Airport terminal? Yes or no? I have Alistair Hart saying yes to the poll. All right.
There's only one no I got so far, right?
Right. Okay. What time is it?
Steve, and there's only one no so far.
Yes, it's only one no so far. Jared Garcia, right. Okay. All right. Let's get into our major news, gentlemen. A.V. Sinhil Bab is in the studio.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
TTP has reports a downward trend in the murder rate in the last 3 months. Industrial action in Trinidad gains Caribbean attention. A woman is charged with possession of prohibited articles and trafficking in marijuana at the Eastern Correctional Rehabilitation Center. Fake immigration stamps found in Belize city raid confirmed by authorities, and French Prime Minister Michel Barnier ousted in no confidence vote. Details in a moment. With your news in detail, I'm Afril Sintil-Bab. Good morning. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has reported a slowing of the murder rate. While the country has now recorded its third highest annual murder toll ever, police are hoping it avoids the 600 mark in 2024, especially as the murder rate has slowed with a downward trend in the last 3 months, resulting in November recording the lowest number of murders this year. After a high of 68 murders in August, the monthly murder toll has been slowly declining, with 58 in September, 55 in October, and 33 in November. April is the only other month when less than 40 murders, 37, were committed. November, April, and January are also the only months where the toll was less than the corresponding period last year. Murders in January declined from 61 last year to 44, while April's figure declined from 52 last year to 37. In November, murders dropped from last year's monthly toll to 43. The toll for this month stood at 3 up to December 4th, compared to 7 for the same period last year. The recent decline represents a 28% decrease in murders over the last 5 weeks. However, the annual murder toll up to December 4th is higher than last year at 565 this year compared to 533. With an average of 51 murders a month, TNT was on course to surpass its highest ever annual murder toll of 605, which was set in 2022. However, if the 28% decline holds steady, TNT can expect to record 36 murders in December compared to 50 last year, pushing the annual toll to the 600 mark, but just short of the 605 record. One woman was granted bail with surety when she appeared before a master of the High Court charged with possession of prohibited articles and trafficking in marijuana at the Eastern Correctional Rehabilitation Center. Sasha Maloney of Shogunas was charged with the offenses when she appeared before Master Sukraj Goswami in the Criminal Court North on Tuesday, 3rd December 2024. She was granted bail with surety in the sum of $100,000 and ordered to report to the Shogunas police station once per month. The matter was transferred to the Arima District Court and adjourned to January 7th, 2025. Reports indicate on November 27th, 2024, prison officials at the Eastern Correctional Rehabilitation Center discovered that a quantity of marijuana and cigarettes were allegedly smuggled into the facility during a prisoner visit. Officers of the Northern Division North Gang Unit were contacted, and 3 persons were arrested in connection with the matter. During the course of the investigations, officers proceeded to the Shogunas home of one of the suspects, where they discovered a number of drones, a quantity of drone accessories, and drone batteries, which enabled the devices to carry payloads. Maloney was subsequently charged with the offenses by PC Paul. The other 2 suspects were released pending further investigations. Meanwhile, in the Northeastern Division, officers of the Gang and Intelligence Unit conducted an exercise between 1:30 p.m. and 3 p.m. on Tuesday, 3rd December, during which they proceeded to the Santa Cruz district. There, they discovered a group of men sitting along McCarthy Street. One of the men was stopped and searched, and one Glock pistol loaded with a magazine containing 15 rounds of ammunition and a second magazine containing 23 rounds of ammunition were discovered in his possession. The suspect, a 24-year-old of San Juan, was arrested in connection with the find. Industrial action taking place in Trinidad and Tobago is a concern for the Executive of Caribbean Labor Solidarity. The group says it supports workers in Trinidad and Tobago. CLS explains it will always support those who are struggling against what it describes as draconian measures. It is calling for the resignation of all trade unions and their rights, the re-establishment of collective bargaining, the right of organized workers to withdraw their labor, and the unconditional lifting of injunctions against the withdrawal of labor. CLS cited protests by port workers of Trinidad and Tobago who have shut down the country's main maritime terminal in Port of Spain on a number of occasions. It says electricity workers have taken action at 4 different locations on the island. National Petroleum workers, the workers responsible for the distribution of fuel across the country, are taking action. The pilots for Caribbean Airlines Limited have staged a protest at the airport, and at the University of the West Indies, the workers struck for the day and shut down the campus. Chief Traffic Engineer of the Ministry of Works and Transport, Adande Pigot, says unfortunate incidents like the one that occurred on Wednesday underscores the need to have designated stops for maxi taxis along the priority bus route. 2 young children, ages 8 and 11, sustained serious injuries after they were struck by a maxi taxi at around 12:30 p.m. on the priority bus route in Aruca. Speaking on the Power Breakfast show on Wednesday morning, Pigot said that there are clear pavement markings on the priority bus route. He also lamented what he termed a low level of education by both pedestrians and drivers on how to use the priority bus route. Pigot explained that it is important to have designated stops for maxi taxis and revealed that this is not a plan that the maxi drivers are interested in being implemented.
Through observation, we have done full research on the priority bus route, and we have consulted with the Maxi Taxi Association about reintroducing maxi taxi stops on the priority bus route. And if I must be honest, as a public servant, there are pushbacks from the Maxi Taxi Association to have official maxi taxi stops along the route.
The question was then posed to the Chief Traffic Engineer on the ministry's stance on the regulation of stops for maxi drivers, despite the pushback from the Maxi Taxi Association, given the fact that such a plan would increase road safety for pedestrians.
We were in negotiation, collaboration, consultation with the Maxi Taxi Association about it, and site visits were done. They went and saw every proposed maxi taxi stop, everything. And in the end, through natural due diligence, they wrote a letter informing that they have some challenges with the ministry implementing maxi taxi stops. But the ministry's position is still to implement that, and that is something that is off my desk right at this time, meaning that it is with the legal department to implement accordingly.
You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Bahamas Prime Minister Philip Davis has announced the resignation of Police Commissioner Clayton Fernanda. Davis was speaking in the House of Assembly. The resignation comes after an indictment, which was unsealed in New York last week, alleged that 3 members of Bahamian law enforcement, including 2 police officers, used their positions to assist Colombian and Bahamian drug dealers to smuggle drugs into the U.S. 13 people were named in the document, including 11 Bahamians and 2 Colombians. Davis said while the commissioner is not implicated in any wrongdoing, the Royal Bahamas Police Force needs change. The commissioner of police has served with distinction, Davis said. The Prime Minister said he has a qualified replacement in mind, but he did not name the individual. Further afield, French Prime Minister Michel Barnier has lost a vote of no confidence, which with left and far-right parties uniting to collapse his government. MPs voted overwhelmingly in support of the motion against him just 3 months after he was appointed by President Emmanuel Macron. Barnier's leadership was called into question after he used his special powers to push through his budget without a vote. Well, finally, here is weather news for the period today until midnight. Trinidad and Tobago generally sunny and breezy despite partly cloudy intervals and showers over a few areas. Tonight will be generally fair apart from the chance of the odd isolated shower. Gusty winds are possible near showers. A yellow level hazardous seas alert remains in effect today. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 32 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 31 degrees Celsius at Crown Point, Tobago. Currently, it is 27 degrees Celsius at both localities. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, TTPS reports a downward trend in the murder rate in the last 3 months. Industrial action in Trinidad gains Caribbean attention. A woman is charged with possession of prohibited articles and trafficking in marijuana at Eastern Correctional Rehabilitation Center. Fake immigration stamps found in Belize City raid confirmed by authorities, and French Prime Minister Michel Barnier ousted in no confidence vote. I'm Avril Sintil-Bab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. Of course, you can join her again come 8 o'clock for our news brief. East-West corridor, you got some traffic, Hoover to Sugar Guanas. But after that, Sugar Guanas, they're going to pick up traffic by Caroni. So that's some good news for you. All right. I think, when is school closing? Is it this week or next week? Huh. All right. Let's see.
Closing this week. It's this week they're closing.
This week. That's why the roads are lighter. All right. Got some other votes for you, Richie Rich. I have got Jared Garcia saying yes. Michael Gradison saying yes. Beauty Culture saying yes. And that's what I got for you so far.
All right.
The
Well,
question was, should the government clear the air on allegations of cost overruns at the new Tobago Airport terminal? Yes or no? Well,
right. And we had 34 people voting in the allotted time on the poll this morning. And of the 34 people, 33 of you said yes. You do think the government should clear the air on allegations of cost overruns at the new Tobago Airport terminal. One person said no. So the yeas have it by a vast majority. 33 people saying yes. They should clear the air. Of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day, through our programming, and we'll give you the final results come tomorrow morning, which will be Friday, because the weekend begins tonight. People are the second after midnight. So it's Friday tomorrow. And of course, the beginning officially, I guess, of the Christmas vacation for children at school. I know as a child, I used to look forward to that. I used to love Christmas. I still love Christmas, actually. So that's basically it for our poll this morning.
all righty.
I seem to have misplaced my phone.
You want me to call it?
One would think that's impossible since it was right here by my computer. But obviously, I got up and I must have left it somewhere.
I much suspect some sort of news conference later today or tomorrow.
On what?
On the Tobago Airport thing.
I don't know why. I think that the Minister of Finance is to address the issue of the seeming issues. Okay, I'm hearing it, Steve. Thanks. Yeah. So I think the Minister of Finance is supposed to address it. I saw. I don't know. Did I read that yesterday? In response to what the leader of the opposition would have raised. So we'll see how it all plays out. But obviously, the majority of of the people voting on the poll this morning felt that it needed to be cleared, and that crossed party lines. Obviously, that it just felt, look, just clear it up and move on.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, at the end of the day, it's public expenditure. If the allegations, clear it up and debunk with facts and information to support your facts and your statements, and that's it. If you are able to debunk the allegations, it's a feather in your cap. You understand?
Yeah.
So no, I don't think the THA is in charge of the airport.
But the terminal looks good. It looks good. Makes you a little jealous for Piaco, but see how it all plays out.
When is that supposed to be completed?
2025. It's on the verge of completion, huh? I mean, they probably have a couple of months again to go, I guess, if so much. I think they wanted to have a soft opening. You know, sometimes politicians like to open stuff before it's actually quite ready to be opened, but they're anxious to open it for whatever, I suppose, political
elections.
Value. But I think it's scheduled to be completed by March or April next year. But remember, there was an article that we read sometime a couple of weeks ago where they said that it was ahead of
Yes, I remember that.
It was ahead of its completion date, and would happen shortly. No, because this is being done under NIPTEC. Is it NIPTEC? Or NITCO? NITCO, I think, is doing this. NITCO is doing it. Right. So, so NITCO, I suppose, would eventually win, but NITCO doesn't really say anything now. So, but I think it's under NITCO that it's being done. Usually you think it's UDCOT, but no, this one is not. It's NITCO. UDCOT would be responsible, I think, for the bus sheds and stuff that the guy was talking about on Michael Grandison was talking about on the Avenue. I think that project comes under UDCOT, that whole Peter Avenue enhancement. And nobody has yet responded to me, or I have not seen any explanation yet why all of those new lights on the avenue are now off. I have seen none.
You know, I just say that.
And it's bewildering. And every time I pass it in the night now, did I pass it last night? I think I did. Yes, I did. And they were still off. And it is bewildering to me. Why?
Maybe the lights were just for the launch. You never know.
No. They were on for several weeks.
But that, that's launch.
And I don't know why I'm the only one upset about that. I just...
No, you're not actually.
It's just so representative of things being done and then undone. And that irritates me to my core. But in other good news, I went to see Wicked yesterday, and what a wonderful movie. I've had so much fun. It was... I went to the 4:15, so it wasn't as crowded, but it still had, people there, of course. And, well, of course, Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, you can't fault them for their voices. They can absolutely sing. But I really enjoyed that movie. But if you've seen the live show, I suppose you would kind of know where the movie is going. But it's part one, actually, of, I assume, 2 parts. But really, at the end of the movie, people in the cinema were clapping. Do you know in America, I think, and in some states, some cinemas in America, they have banned singing because people were singing throughout the movie and disturbing other patrons.
Yeah.
So I think they put up a sign saying,
put up a ban for that.
You cannot sing while the movie is on. Yeah, while the movie is on. Because some of the songs,
painting green and so on.
Yeah, because some of the songs are very popular from the Broadway show.
Yeah. Coming back to the airport, it is supposed to be, it's started to open before the end of the first quarter for 2025. And NIDCO's chairman, Herbert George, now believes it could be finished earlier, possibly in the first part of the quarter.
Right, that's right. So,
yeah.
So in 2025, early in 2025, it's expected to be completed.
Yeah.
And because it's being done by China Railways, I think is the main contractor on that terminal. So we'll see how it all...
But he also said here in an article last month that the project remains on budget and has faced no major setbacks.
Mm-hmm.
This was an article. Let me get the date.
Well, not according to the leader of the opposition, and that analysis that was done by some company did the analysis that she referenced there.
Yeah, and this was an article on 27 days ago.
Yeah, with the cost overruns, which is why I was confused when I saw that the leader of the opposition brought up all of these issues out of this report that she was reading from. I was thinking back to that same article that you just read there, that you just referenced, and saying, but didn't they say that there were no cost overruns?
Yeah, so, I remember that.
Yeah,
so we read this article.
Yeah, where this coming from now? So, but apparently it was some analysis of the entire project done by a company. I don't know who commissioned the company to do the project, to do the analysis. That I'm not clear on.
She's saying, Mrs. Pasabi says that is, which is quoted in the Express, that a full-fledged probe is needed in both the Prime Minister and NIDCO Chairman Herbert George. He said Dr. Rowley, Works and Transport Minister Rohan Sinanan and George must inform the country that their own consultant, Gleeds, and Gleeds is a UK-based company that provides global property and construction consultancy, said in November 2024 budget report, page 14, had estimated that the highest cost overrun could reach US $67,910,689.92, or TT $461 million, $0.7 million. So she said in the budget report, or is it, yeah, in the 2024 budget report, page 41, So I'll have to look at that report. The Express obtained a copy of the Gleeds budget report dated November 20. Well, not the budget report, it's the Gleeds budget report, which provided a comprehensive overview of the project financial status and projections as of October 2024. As referenced by Prasad Bisesa, the forecast overspend on authorized expenditure is estimated $67,910,689. So the Express seems to be verifying the statement referenced by the leader of the opposition in this Gleeds budget report.
Okay.
Page 11 of the document, which outlines China Railway Construction Caribbean Company Limited claims, quote, in release 33, the contractor has claimed the total additional cost of TT $202,405,731.47, VAT exclusive, or US $29.7 million. Given that there was no disaggregation of this cost into total delay cost or total other cost, it was necessary to revisit all previous claims so the cost increases from claim 1, identified in terms of delay cost and other costs, could be used to establish the total additional cost in similar terms from claim 1 moving forward, the document stated. So I think in light of all this, I think it's an explanation is needed.
Yeah.
You know, some clarity is needed.
It didn't indicate that the Minister of Finance in that Express article was to make a statement on the issue.
Let me see down to the end.
Am I imagining that?
Documents. Please. There has been no response yet sent to both the Minister, the Prime Minister, and George, the Chairman George, on the matter. No, it doesn't reference the Minister of Finance.
Okay. I don't know why that's in my mind. I don't know where I saw that.
Well, I'm sure it's on the Express now and in mainstream media, so it'll be interesting to this Thursday. We may have some press conference from the Minister of Finance or the Prime Minister seeking to clarify all of this. I think it deserves some level of clarity, you know, because it's a big project. And I think you're right. I remember either the Prime Minister or the Minister of Finance recently stating that it is on target or a little before target in terms of time and on budget. I think that's what I remember the statement from the government was regarding the project. So that Leeds report is quite interesting. You know, they may be able to reconcile and rationalize it, but based on what the Express has published, I think it needs some clarification. 222 talk.
Yeah, we can remember lines at this point. So 222 talk, 222-8255, North Americans 866-525-1099, and people on the web and streaming platforms, you know what to do. We have calls at this point, 222 talk, 222-8255, and North Americans 866-525-1099. Are you following the detective work? CJ had sent me news report, TV news report on that murder of the United Healthcare CEO in New York, in Manhattan.
Crazy. That's something.
But the police work into that investigation and the updating is instructive vis-a-vis the TTPS.
Yeah, because you said the individual went to Starbucks, grabbed a coffee, sat down and waited, made the shots, went through an alley,
rebuilt the scene.
Yeah,
in terms of what happened, found phone and a bottled water that he would have bought at Starbucks. They found this in an alley. The scrutiny and the updating of the public on the issue.
Obtaining and showing the video of him committing the murder.
Yeah.
But again, and the obligation, the clear policy obligation, because it's a high-profile killing one, and one that happened in the middle of Manhattan, outside of the Hilton, and the public interest that is dictating the regular police NYPD updates to the public on this significant occurrence is, as you're right, instructive to the TGPS on what the public deserves with these kinds of investigations.
Yep.
But you know it goes here.
Yeah.
And from the head of the police, the NYPD, no intermediate officer,
no press release,
and no intermediate officer. The head of the NYPD is making himself available for these regular updates to the New York citizenry. Right? Live school TTPS, live school in how communication should be executed. To keep people, one, updated, and two, feeling a sense of security about what is a very traumatic experience for New Yorkers. Because the CEO of the healthcare company just came out of the hotel, I think, after a meeting, if I'm not mistaken.
He was on his way to a meeting.
Or on his way to a meeting.
Conference.
He was staying at the
conference. No, he was not.
Yeah. And the amount of information that they were able to share that for some reason didn't seem to compromise the investigation. You understand? Here's it may compromise the investigation. The investigations that 80% of which never finish anyway.
Yeah.
They're actually
never lead to a resolution.
They're actually giving you the information, the last things he did, what he did, where he was, and they said he was obviously a professional because they said the gun kept jamming.
It jammed, and he was able to unjam it, to clear it.
They said because he was using a silencer. And they say when you're using a silencer, they have to have certain specifications with regard to the gun so that it doesn't jam. But it was jamming, but he was calmly unjamming it and firing again.
But you saw it in the video.
Firing it again. So they said he's obviously trained. He has some sort of military training.
Some sort of training
with regard to marksmanship and stuff like that. So, but they give you all of that information, all of that.
Yeah, I remember you remember years ago, there was a sniper in Washington, D.C. that was just shooting. You remember that? And the police came out and was having their regular press conferences. But what they did was that they sent everybody left so they could focus on the right, and they actually caught the individual. And the individual had made a hole through his taillights and moved his back seat so he could park and just crouch down in the car and shoot at random whenever he felt like it. And they caught the guys. It was two of them.
But look also in the shooting of Donald Trump at that rally months ago in the U.S. Presidential election campaign. The amount of information that was available within 12 hours about the shooter, who he was, his history, where he'd been 2 weeks before leading up to the shooting, the weapon used, where he got the weapon, you understand? That
footage of him before.
Compromised the investigation.
Anyway, we could take some of your calls.
Yeah, we take some of your calls.
222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. So 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. The lines are now open.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, John Melody.
Good morning.
It is a profound statement. I don't know if you all spoke about this issue. When a judge make a public statement that he does not believe the evidence provided by a police officer, and so much so to suggest that the laws of Trinidad and Tobago be changed, that police officers be liable for malicious prosecution, right? That is a damning statement on the part of the police service, the integrity, and the same thing that I've been lobbying and complaining about for years. A magistrate is now implying, hey, there's a problem here, and we need to address it. I hope the right people who find anti-police listening to what a magistrate says. And we need to pay attention. We need to keep an eye on the guards. There's somebody need to guard the guards, because that could be a runaway train if left unchecked. And we just feel police are people of integrity and they does no wrong and they does no crime. A whole judge say that, not me,
Well, you keep going between a judge and a magistrate. Make up your mind which one it is.
It's not a magistrate. I stand corrected. It's a judge. Say that, not me. Okay? So I just wanted to point that out this morning to the sycophants and them who believe police does no wrong and they don't do criminal activity. A judge say, hey, I don't believe what you're saying. You're not. I don't believe you're speaking the truth. And all they need to be prosecuted when all they come here and inconvenience citizens and mess up their life for years. All they need to pay that charge, not fine, not the state. A judge say that. I'll leave it in a day. Have a good morning.
All right, thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Final time. Good morning. Not there. All right, 222-8255. North Americans, that's U.S. and Canada, 866-525-1099. That's our numbers directly into our studio. You give us a call. All right. Okay.
It'll be interesting to see the handing over of the airport in Tobago from the old terminal to the new. I think the new one is supposed to be able to accommodate jets, bigger jets and stuff. With the what's it called? The gangplank? The
Skyway.
The skywalks to the airline. So you'd have to walk on the tarmac.
Yeah, like here. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Calling from Mova. I know we call the government ambassador because the city people and telling me, but one particular area, which is in Churchill, that they have work, activities, and I thank them after how much millions of years. So, thanks to the government ministry of work, so Leon, I know he on the way out, I know he has something to do with that. Okay, let's see. So, thank you very much to the authorities. Okay, then.
All right. Thank you, buddy, and move on. Good morning.
I was speaking about Citygate, Paul. I remember in a trip to Dubai, I came out at train station, went on an escalator. The escalator carried me across the 6-lane or 8-lane highway, air-conditioned walkway, and took me down to the other side of the highway. And I always think about that when I see Port of Spain floods, and not the bus terminus, not Citygate, but the road to get to Citygate and for pedestrians to come out of Citygate under 2-3 feet of water. Fire trucks and army trucks had to come to get people out of Citygate. Citygate becomes useless to get people out of Port of Spain, and all it take would be for walkover to cross the road so people could still get into Citygate and get a bus to come out of Port of Spain. I just thought I'd mention that.
I just think that I follow Richard's trend of thought that I get the impression sometimes the free, that's all we deserve in this country.
Yeah.
And
not good enough, as he says, not good enough for them.
I and my children do have to deal with it, so that's good enough for all you.
Mm-hmm. Not good enough for them.
What are you complaining about? So what if it's time next to a vagrant defecating in a bus terminus? What's the big deal? We get in the bus. It might come an hour and a half late. You don't know when it's coming. The bus might be leaking, but that's all right. You're getting where you want to go eventually.
That could be a case, so not good enough for them.
Start writing, Rich. Start writing.
Yeah. Come on,
That's the chorus line right there. That good enough for them.
And contrary to Adande, with the greatest of respects utterances yesterday, I do not feel PTSD is going to get any better next year. I've heard that before over and over and over again. That they were kind of this great mass transportation policy, and they have the Andean Bank involved, and it's coming. Yeah, right. Remember, PTSD is going to do this great app. Remember the app that we were told about? You downloaded it yet, Richard? You downloaded it already?
And after they stopped LDAM, they were
yes.
They said that all buses were going to be equipped with the facility to take wheelchairs. I don't know if that has happened. But the LDAM service was a great disappointment to the physically challenged community across the country.
The reason given is that it was being abused, so that you cannot regulate and manage any abuse of a system. So you have to shut it down because you can't manage it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's being abused and people calling it to go to parties and come from parties and things. So you can't manage that. You have to shut it down. So the people who are legitimately using it have to pay because you can't manage it properly.
But if you are using it to go to a party, let's go down that road, Paul. It's public transport.
That too. Good point too. You didn't specify you had to use it for any specific reason.
Yeah.
It's public transport for a particular community.
Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Three wise men. Breakfast show. 2 points. One is I want to say something to Mr. Wendell Steve. I know he's not there, but
he's listening.
He might be listening. Right. You see that park on Panka Street, just opposite the ice cream place there? I noticed him last night and all. And a few weeks I saw it again. Where vehicles are being allowed to go in there, like people going to play with the children, and they have vehicles parked in that park. I think it's a hazard, it's a safety risk to the children. I've never seen that yet in no park in Trinidad and Tobago, where vehicles be allowed. So if you could ask the goodly alderman to address that, right? Having people taking their private vehicles and going there. And the second point is with respect to the question, the poll question there, right? We know in the past we have serious allegations against allegations, of course overrun, right? Billions of dollars, right? And this money is not whoever government in power, the taxpayers is their money. And I think it's really reasonable to ask questions if that kind of billions, they're talking about billions of dollars, is overrun in the project, right? We have seen where the Auditor General have raised issues with a $3-point-something billion were not accounted for, and he's an independent person looking over into it. So it seems like if this is a pattern, and I am saying we must get to the bottom of this and let them, as one of you all said in your comments, that bring all the bills or whatever you have to bring to show that this money is not missing. But that is serious allegation that is being made. Thank you all, and have a blessed Christmas.
Thank you. Have a safe one as well, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. All the best there. All right. Yeah, so we have to get some of your calls. Okay. Right. Yeah. 222-8255. North American. You can call us 866-525-1099. All right. Numbers directly into our studio. All right. Where did Richard go? Okay, there he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I there's no big deal in as a matter of fact, it shows transparency and accountability in coming before the public and giving a report on the project financially. You understand? And say, well, this is the case. This was the projected cost. This is where we are now. We are just under 3 months from opening the project, finishing the project. The project was scheduled to be opened the next date. We're on track. We're on track in terms of timeline.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I just want to correct that gentleman who just called. when he said Wendell, he referred to Wendell as the alderman.
Alderman.
Yeah, he's
Wendell
not.
is no longer an alderman. Okay? Wendell doesn't hold any political post as alderman or anything in the Port of Spain City Council. Does he have influence? Maybe. And he could probably make a call or something and find out what's going on. But he is, and he might say he has no influence anymore at all. But yeah, we hear you concerning the parking in the park that you referred to. I'm not so sure which park he's talking about though. It's not
I'm saying
Anderson.
a park on Panker Street. Remember when there was talk about the ice cream place, his family?
Sigurd?
Panker Street. Sorry?
Sigurd Square?
I don't even know Square, you know.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, morning,
No,
Mr.
morning.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
Ragoobarsingh and Paul Richard, morning. Wendell, morning. As a matter of fact, right, the overrun expenditure sometimes in some projects could not be really. Sometimes it happens because a certain thing they didn't foresee within the contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here what has happened. You had to give somebody the accounting officer on the project, had to itemize everything that they had on the sheet before and on the other sheet now and see well where the overrun went. Right? Because on all projects have overrun. If you build in a house, sometimes you went and you price a certain amount of material. And when you go back the next 2 days, the material gone up. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
Labor, everything, weather conditions, pull back thing and give big overrun. That is something totally different than somebody dipping the hand and moving with the people money.
And that's fine, Mr. Patrick. And just come before the population and say that.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And if there are legitimate reasons for the cost overrun that don't include corruption and thievery, come forward and say that. You understand?
Right. So we need something called transparency with the government first. But like sometimes the government don't like to be transparent. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know why. Yeah. But in the end of the day, transparency is the whole issue when it comes to this thing. Richard Ragoobarsingh, are your Christmas shopping going, right?
If what?
Are your Christmas shopping going?
It has started.
And you know, Mr. Patrick, further to your point, even if there were no allegations of corruption or cost overrun, I think as the project nears an end, the government should come before the population and say, you know, we this is a massive project that we promised. The project is complete. We're going to open it. The project was projected to cost $500 million. And finish in March of 25. It is February of 25. We finished on time and we finished within budget. You understand?
Yeah, because
even if there were no allegations.
Right. I could recall this government earlier clock say they went back and they reclaimed some money over some contracts. You remember that?
And to be their credit, they've done so as some of the roads, the overpasses and stuff that were projected to cost a lot more when the government reassessed them. The value went down and there were savings to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and they reported that. Remember,
Curbing the change was one.
Yeah, curbing the change is one. So and they reported those things.
Right,
so
let
no
me get the report. Let me get the report. Let me get the report from the airport.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Patrick.
All right.
I wish I left in that bacchanal, Lord. But I guess it's that season.
Just the season.
It is the season. That's the season now. For bacchanal confusion, allegations, counter allegations, reminders of past allegations, projecting of new allegations. It's the most wonderful time of the year when politicians accusing.
So we're not taking calls.
No, sometimes Steve is going his own tangent. We had to guess what he's doing, you know. You imagine what's coming up next.
All right, yeah. All right. Good morning, caller.
Hey, morning, fellas.
Morning, Dean.
Morning, Dean.
Yeah, well, I think the thing with the cost overruns is that in that Tobago project, well, one, they're claiming that there's infrastructural weaknesses, but a cost overrun normally is kicked into your contract at the very beginning because you have your contingencies, then you put in your 10% or your 15%, miscellaneous. So the question to be asked in my head is, if it's way over what was the established understanding of what was the contractual understanding of your, because you're kicking for those things, acts of God and all these kind of things. All these things are part of your contract. Now, if you go way above the understanding, question falls on the people who write up and who overseeing the contract. But there are some alarming claims about things going on that are not the standard, and I think that is some dangerous claims there.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Dean. Good morning to you, Martin George.
Yeah, hi, good morning. And good morning to all your listeners.
Yes, morning. I decided to call you because we were talking about the Tobago terminal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the new Tobago terminal.
The new Tobago terminal.
Yeah.
And you're being quoted in one of the newspapers this morning as saying the government should clear the air on the allegations from Mrs. Pasal-Bissessar about cost overruns. And I was contending that even if there were no allegations, the population is due a report on how the project went and what the cost, if it was within budget, etc. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Yes, I fully agree, because we have to move to a place where accountability and transparency becomes the norm rather than the exception. It can't be that you have to wait until somebody digs up some, information and, starts the naming and shaming, and then, you belatedly come forth with information. We have to move to a point where this is par for the course and, the norm rather than the exception.
The project, I understand, is due to open next year. And I had not heard from the government side of any cost overruns or whether it was going to be delayed. Would you have heard anything similar?
No, I haven't heard anything from the government, anything other than praise for the project. And I mean, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it is that there are allegations being made of this nature, and if it is that there appears that there might be some basis for making these calls, I mean, if it's totally spurious, frivolous, and utterly without merit, then of course that's a different thing. But if there is the slightest basis for making these calls, then I think it then falls upon the government to come forth and say, hey, listen, no, that's not true, because these are the numbers, these are the figures, this is what happened. And I just want to emphasize the point that not every cost overrun in a project means that there's evidence of corruption. It could very well be that, for either any one of your force majeure, items that, a project could have run over, maybe even if it was during COVID or whatever, I mean, that would have been an unprecedented event, that kind of thing, because I think part of this construction would have taken place during the COVID period. So, you have reasons why it could possibly be that there were cost overruns, but you have to look, first of all, at the nature of the alleged overrun, the quantum, is it in line or in keeping with what would be reasonable in the case of an unprecedented event that you have to now make allocation for? And then you also have to look at whether the additional monies allocated were actually spent on the project. So that's where it would be very easy and simple, I think, for the government to come forth, produce the numbers, and put this issue to rest if it is that they are saying that there is no corruption whatsoever. You see, I mean, it's easy to politicize the issue and, to try to demonize the person making this type of call. But the reality is that if you do have the information which could, disprove it, then why not just simply do that? And, let's put an end to it and move on.
How should the public reconcile these suggestions by some? Well, it is silly season. We're counting on to an election, and there are going to be many allegations made. And the person who is making the allegation should provide some sort of basis for the allegations.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. It can't be something that's just entirely frivolous and without merit or some kind of, documentary basis to, substantiate the claim. But once there is, then I think that it then now falls upon the government to be able to answer properly and to be able to say, well, look, hey, this is what actually happened, and, as a result, we are confident to say that your allegations are ill-founded or, without basis, because we actually, did have justification for these things, and these are the numbers, this is where the money was spent, etc.
Now, there's no doubt a new airport is always a great thing for an island like Tobago and for the state of Trinidad and Tobago. But do you think the systems are in place to maximize the benefits from the airport?
Well, the thing is, if you look at how people normally treat with these issues in other countries, you basically let it be demand-driven. So in other words, your airport has to be so busy, so bustling, so bursting at the seams, so choking to capacity that you realize, hey, listen, wow, we need to expand this, we need to build a bigger airport. And you then, do the airport to cater for what you anticipate to be your increased demand. Unfortunately, the scenario in Tobago is that we have, in a sense, put the cart before the horse, in that we've now created this massive new airport with, I'm told, a really phenomenal capacity of, I saw one study quoted possibly like up to 3 million passengers per year. That's way more than PRO does. In fact, when you look up the Caribbean in terms of tourist numbers, I'm not sure we have anybody who really does 3 million tourist arrivals per year. Cuba, I think is just over 2 million. Jamaica is 1 point something. That kind of thing. So it's nice to have it, and of course it's necessary if you do have the capacity and the room stock. So if you don't have the airlift coming, if you don't have the airline flying in, if you don't have the hotel rooms to put all these visitors, then, as I say, it's a question of a cart before the horse. It's not incurable. It's not that you can't then take the horse and then carry him around to the front of the cart. But the point is, that takes work and effort, and it starts with you having the quality room stock, the number of rooms, which then will now be used to attract the airlines to say, well, hey, listen, we have these nice facilities where guests can stay. Please start back flying to Tobago. So you're talking about some years for that to occur. So that's why I said I hope it's not going to be a big, expensive white elephant.
Well, that's why I asked the question, because the airport is one part of it, but I guess it could be part of their strategic plan, because the airport was in need of an upgrade. I think no one can argue with that, but it must form part of a deeper network of room stock, marketing for the island, tourist activities, etc.
And those parts we're not seeing in place yet. We're not seeing that in place yet. There's no immediate plan that we can see for an explosion in the number of hotel rooms. It's been going very slowly. You have one or two projects that they're speaking about. I think they're speaking about the Rocky Point, the Marriott, etc. But I don't even think they've broken ground, for those projects.
Yeah. Well, we shall see if the government accedes to come to the population and account for how the airport project has gone. Martin, just thanks for chatting with us on short notice this morning.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Have a great morning, guys.
All the best to you, my friend.
All right. Okay.
Good.
Build it and they shall come.
That too.
Like that.
That too.
That's a philosophy.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's part of it, you know. There's no doubt that Tobago's airport needed upgrading. Quite frankly, Trinidad needs upgrading also now. Given the fact that the amount of money spent in Trinidad's airport is basically a big three-pronged shed.
Yeah.
There ain't no great airport in Trinidad, okay? It's clean and it's functional.
Yeah, and it's one best airport in the Caribbean.
But it's not the most innovative looking structure in the world.
No, it's not.
Okay, it's three prongs.
They could do some work.
High roofs and shed.
Yeah, they could do some work on it.
Admired in controversy.
Yeah.
That whole airport caused a whole government to crash, not so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we shall see. But as I said before, I don't think there's anything wrong in the government coming to the population and saying, listen, this is the state of play where this airport is concerned. It will be opened in March 25. It was projected to be opened in that time. We're on time. There were some cost overruns regarding materials, shipping, freighting, because most of the materials may have been imported. Delays due to weather, things that are reasonable, you know, and as such, the projected cost was $500 million. It went to 700 million, and these are the reasons why it was well managed, etc., or otherwise. I don't think I don't think anybody could argue against transparency and accountability, even in the face of the political environment we're in. And we know in the environment we're in, there are going to be allegations that are spurious in some cases. It is that time of the year or the cycle. But what you could do? You're not Trinidad and Tobago. So we're going to get a buffering press conference on that. Remember I tell you.
You're going to get a buffering press conference?
You members of the media need to do your research. I was told that just on Tuesday or Monday.
Who told you that?
Somebody said the name change, and I should have known that, or we should have known that.
Oh, you still told them that?
No. I didn't know that. I had to go and research somebody name change.
Right. You know what I bet Trinidad should do? I think Trinidad should do like a $2 billion project, Paul, where we find land somewhere into Trinidad, and Trinidad has land all over, and build a completely new city to facilitate maybe about 10,000 people. But hear me out. In this city, even if you are a Trinidadian, well, of course, Trinidadians populating the city, but if you're visiting, like you come into the city, you have to park outside of the city. And the only transport available in the city would be electric self-driving cars. And everything should be technologically, it's like you're building a tech city. And even if businesses come to populate it, like supermarkets or whoever, coffee shops, whatever, they all have to zone into innovation in terms of the makeup of that tech city. In addition to which, even the education system has to sit a little bit outside of the regular education system, in that the schooling is envisioned towards innovation and coding and tech and stuff like that. I find we should try a project.
And you know what they say?
What?
1, you vote a pardon. 2, you're building a city for the elite.
Don't worry, you're taking people from your
and how you choose them will be open to question.
You're making it a multi-purpose in terms.
I think it's a great ideological idea in terms of where the country can go.
And so it kind of lays out a map, but also it can also be a tourist attraction. But the kind of innovations you can have there, and in a small space. But you know, it would be. I think it can drive a lot of hope in the future of the country?
I think so. It's a very idealistic project, and it will show what we can do as a country. It's like a model city of like a pilot project.
Yeah, of the future, of the city
of the future. But again, it will be mired in political controversy. If it says Ragoobarsingh and the friends and the family and then go be there, it's voter party, depending where you put it, because it's only paying about UNC voters go get to go in and live there. And the education system for the elite children go be different from everybody else who is suffering. You all have a great day. Be safe. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I tell you. All right. Let's wrap it up for this Thursday.
All right. So have a fantastic day, whatever you do. And of course, remember to smile and laugh. It's really great for your health. Have a good one, people.
All right. Talk to you guys bright and early come tomorrow morning. Let's get into our 8 o'clock news brief. Evie is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is time for 8 o'clock news update. I'm Avril Cynthia Bob. Good morning. Tobago Business Chamber Chairman Martin George says the government cannot stay silent and avoid accountability in the face of an allegation that there is $500 million in cost overruns in the construction of the A&R Robinson International Airport Terminal. Speaking on the Power Breakfast Show this morning, he acknowledged that the airport needed to be refurbished and said he hoped that it was not a white elephant and that work earmarked for the airport would really occur. A war of words erupted between Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and opposition leader Kamala Persad-Basasa on the A&R Robinson Airport expansion project in Tobago. This as Dr. Rowley accused Persad-Basasa of making a scandalous outburst and torrent of baseless allegations in the wake of accusations of mismanagement and corruption on the project by the government. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has reported a slowing of the murder rate. While the country has now recorded its third highest annual murder toll ever, police are hoping it avoids the 600 mark in 2024, especially as the murder rate has slowed with a downward trend in the last 3 months, resulting in November recording the lowest number of murders this year. And one woman was granted bail with surety when she appeared before a master of the High Court, charged with possession of prohibited articles and trafficking in marijuana at the Eastern Correctional Rehabilitation Center. Sasha Maloney of Shogunas was charged with the offenses when she appeared before Master Sukraj Goswami in the Criminal Court North on Tuesday, 3rd December. Well, that was the update to 8 o'clock. Look out for news in full at 12 noon. I'm Avril Cynthia Bob. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
There is a connection between government policy and law in the sense that all laws start as some type of government policy. So, for example, in Trinidad and Tobago, we would have had the recent national policy on persons with disabilities. And that policy talks in very strong terms about the need to both enact laws to provide for the human rights of persons with disabilities. It also talks about the need to amend laws that we have on our statute books right now that discriminate against persons with disabilities. So once that policy is adopted and approved by the cabinet, then the process of making it a law can begin. The difficulty with the policy remaining as a policy, two things. One, it's not enforceable. So it does not really give you any rights legally because it's just a policy, it's not a law. And the other thing is that policies can change over time. Policies can change over time as the needs of the government or the focus of the government itself changes. It can change if the government itself changes. So that it's not enough for us to say, well, we have a policy. We have to take that further step to make the policy a law, because that is what will give full protection for the human rights of persons with disabilities.